Hello and welcome to this presentation of isometric circles, and we are going to look at a shaft, um, a shaft that has two cylinders, one on the other. My name is DN Kamau, and I will take you through this. We are going to draw. Just be ready with your pencil, be ready with your instruments, yeah, and your instruments have to be kept clean. The set squares, the T squares, all the instruments, they need to be kept clean. And you can have a size paper A3 and just mount it on your desk, and let us start. So the first thing you need to have here is the set squares, because we are going to use set squares in doing a lot of the things that we are going to draw. And I would recommend that you have especially this set square. These are 45 by 45 degrees set square, and this one is a 60 by 30 set square. So we are going to use 60 by 30 because we are drawing an isometric diagram. Therefore, we shall need to use this side of 30 for most of our drawing. First thing you do is to um, draw a baseline. Yeah, this baseline can be drawn by using your T square and set square. Just place your set square on the edge of your paper, and then with the help of your T square, you can be able to, you can use your T square to just draw that horizontal line, and let everything be in construction lines. Let us do construction lines from the beginning until we reach where we are going to indicate where you should use the finish line. So make sure everything that you're doing right now um, is construction lines. How do you draw construction lines? Sharpen your pencil correctly, sharpen it correctly by making sure the tip is 0.5 millimeters, so that the pencil, the thickness of lines that you draw is 0.5. Yeah, and then the tip, the black part of your pencil, should be about between 8 millimeters to 5 millimeters. If it goes below that, you can resharpen your pencil. And because we don't want to waste time sharpening our pencils and preparing our instruments, come with your instruments, prepare them well in advance, so that as we start, we don't go back to, yeah, because in technical drawing, um, uh, time time is really wasted in preparing your instruments, sharpening your pencils, and so on and so forth. Place your instruments in a place where they are not prone to falling. You drop your set squares, they'll break, and so on and so forth. You drop your pencils, the tip will break, and it will force you to sharpen your pencils. So just place your instruments away from your working area. Yeah, have a place where you place, and make sure that place is clean, so that your instruments don't collect dust onto your work. So first thing is you draw this line, horizontal line, construction. Then you can do this 90 degrees by just using your T square and set square. You'll be able to get that. The second step is for you to use the 30 degrees set square to draw this 30 degrees line, and to draw this 30 degrees line on both sides. That gives you your isometric setup. Yeah. So once you have those two, then you can measure. You can measure this 60 millimeters, because we are doing a cuboid of 60 millimeters by 60 millimeters by 20 millimeters. So measure this as 60 and measure this other one as 60, and then you erect a perpendicular to the horizontal, this one right there, and you measure 20. This one also is parallel to that, put it at 20, and these two is parallel. So all these vertical lines are parallel to each other, and these ones at 30 degrees are also parallel to each other. This line is parallel to this is parallel to this. So make it 60 on this side and 60 on this side, and let's have that one at 20. Yes, everything is in construction lines. Everything is in construction lines, so make sure that all these lines are in construction, because we we will need a few lines to be erased, and because we are doing it in construction lines, we can leave them there, and they will and just do the finished lines to override them. So you don't even need to erase any line, but if you use finished lines, you may need to erase them. And as we know, finished lines normally leave deep cuts and deep marks, so that the work would not look very nice. So just make sure you use construction lines, so that you don't have to erase. So this is 60 millimeters. This is also 60 millimeters. And what did we do? We just erected this vertical, and then using set square 30 degrees, we do this line, drew that one, and then on top here we also drew this one using the same. You can either use that 30 degrees, 90 degrees, T square passing through this line, and then 30 degrees, and you draw that, and 30 degrees you draw that after measuring this 20 millimeters. You can also use the parallelism, where you will draw this line and draw this one, then using um, parallelism simply by picking this line and drawing another line at 20 millimeters, which is parallel to it. How do you attain that? Align one of your set squares here, and then place the other one on the side, and then you can be able to slide that set square to have this line drawn. So you can use parallelism to draw this line, use parallelism to draw this line, then go on to this line and this line, then you can draw this one, and that one, meaning that this line is parallel to this, parallel to that, and this one is parallel to this and parallel to that. So the next step is to now divide uh, the top into 4 quarters. Divide it into 4 quarters by measuring. The whole of this is 60. Just measure 30 on this side and measure 30 on that side, and you can also measure 30 on this side and 30 on the other side. And if you connect this line to the 30 there, connect this 30 to the 30 there, then you have it divided into 4 quarters. Then after you've divided into 4 quarters, then um, just check for the wider angle on the 4 corners. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. So this corner has a smaller angle than this corner here. This corner has a wider angle, and you notice that uh, the opposite corners have equal angles. This angle is equal to this one, and this one is also equal to that. So identify the wider angles, and step with your set square on this wider angle. Make this one a center. We are going to look for 4 centers for us to be able to draw that isometric circle. Yeah, that isometric circle, which is really an ellipse. So stand there with your pair of compass and stretch it to this corner, and you will be able to make that arc over there. You can do the same thing on this other side. Stand here, stretch your pair of compass here, and draw the other arc on this side. In this case, we want to um, we want to move in a different direction. Maybe we will not draw this one first, but we can continue with this other part. Well, um, we um, let us now draw this arc over here. Let us transfer it 20 millimeters down here. We are transferring this arc which we have drawn, whose center is here. We are transferring this arc whose center is here. We are transferring it 20 millimeters down. So with your set square 90 degrees, you can draw this line and measure 20 millimeters. That will be the beginning of your arc. Then at the end of your arc also measure 20 millimeters. So this is the beginning of your arc and this is the end of your arc. We are transferring this arc down here. Now where is the center of this arc? Where is the center of this arc? We stood here as we drew this arc. Therefore, the center of the top arc, the center is here. We want to also transfer the center 20 millimeters. We want to transfer it 20 millimeters down here so that we can move the beginning, we can move the beginning of our arc down 20 millimeters, move the end of our arc down 20 millimeters, and move the center of our arc down 20 millimeters. So um, after getting those points, we have moved the center down here. We have moved the beginning down here and the end down here. Just stand here with your pair of compass, stretch it there, and you'll be able to make that arc. And you'll see that this arc gives you the thickness of that over there. So we've already finished 1/4. We still have this quarter, we have this quarter, and we have that quarter. We still have 3/4 to go. So what is the next step? Now, in the next step, we are now looking for a center so as to draw an arc here, to draw the next arc. For this quarter, we want to draw an arc here. So what are we looking for? You place uh, um, your ruler here at the center and you draw this line which represents the radius for this arc. This line here shows the radius for this arc. Since this is the center, this is the beginning and this is the end. So if you draw a line here, that would be the radius of that arc. Next, you do a diagonal touching the smaller angles. Remember that the wider angles were in the opposite on this quadrant and on this quadrant. We had the wider angles. Now, in this quadrant and this one, we have the smaller angles, and therefore draw uh, draw uh, a diagonal touching the smaller angle and the smaller angle. And notice that we get here an integration here. There is um, what we call it. There is an intersection. Wow, I'm losing that word. Intersection here between this line, which represents the radius of this arc, and this line, which we have drawn as the diagonal from these two quadrants with the smaller angles. So this point here is our center, where you will place your pair of compass, stretch it to this quarter, stretch it to that quarter, and then draw the arc up to there. Remember, each arc only goes for a quadrant. You do not take more than a quadrant. Just draw the arc from this point to that point. It's only taking the quarter of the whole diagram. So there we are with our line, and we have finished drawing the second quadrant, but we still need to transfer this arc down here. Yeah, we need to transfer it. We already have the beginning being transferred down here. We also need to transfer the end down here 20 millimeters, and the center down here 20 millimeters, so as to enable us to draw uh, the other layer of this uh, arc. So um, you notice these pink lines. This one has been transferred. Remember, we are transferring it parallel to the vertical, so that this line is parallel to that, and parallel to that. Yeah. So make sure you are using the t-square and the set square properly to 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 uh, to attain this parallelism on all these lines. So from here, the beginning, drop a line 20 millimeters. Why are we dropping it 20 millimeters? Because the thickness of this object is 20 millimeters. So drop this one 20, drop this one 22, and this one also 20. So why are we dropping this one? This is the beginning of the arc. Why are we dropping this one? This is the end of the arc. And why this one? This is the center of the arc. So if you stand at the bottom here at the end of the arc, stretch your pair of compass here, you will be able to draw an arc that is just similar to this one, but at the lower section of the diagram. So that is our line there. You just stand here, stretch your pair of compass there, and describe this arc over there. Now, um, we now have drawn the full half of that circle. Yeah, this is a half of a circle, and this one is also a half of this circle. But we'll notice that there are some parts of this circle that are going to be hidden, and we need to get a tangent dropping from this diagonal and touching the lower diagonal. We don't have a lower diagonal here, so we'll draw a parallel line to this tangent, a parallel line to this diagonal from this corner, and it will be parallel to this one. And with that, at this point, we can now be able to draw a tangent touching the lower arc. So um, here, uh, we still need to draw this diagonal. We haven't drawn the diagonal so as to know where this one is starting from this diagonal, the 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 tangent. The tangent will touch that, and it will touch the the other arc. But because we don't have the diagonal, we don't know exactly where the tangent will touch on the lower circle. Uh, so there we are with our, uh, this is our diagonal. You can see the intersection point is here. So we connect this intersection point to this intersection point to get the diagonal, to get the tangent here, to get the tangent there. And that is it. And everything behind the target, eh, everything behind the target, the line that now was coming behind here now is not no longer needed. We have finished with it. It should be in construction line, so it's not visible. And since we have completed this quarter, I mean this half, we can finish it with a finished line. You can now make it bold. This one too can be made bold. This one, the whole of this can be made bold, and including this tangential line should also be made bold. So we have finished one side of our diagram. We now need to get the other side, the arc on the other side, the half circle, half isometric circle on the other side. So how do we go about it? Um, the same theory here, the same theory. How did we start? We will um, locate locate this uh, lowest corner of this quadrant, lowest corner. We had it, but unfortunately I erased it to make this diagram more clear. So I think in your work you should still be having this corner. Just stand on this corner and stretch your pair of compass to this corner, and you'll be able to describe this arc over there. You can see now the moment we do this arc, now we are remaining with this quadrant. And if you remember how we did this quadrant, we will need a diagonal, and we shall also need a radius, maybe from here up to there, a radius, so that the intersection point there will be our center. So here we are with our um, radius. This radius describes this is the radius to this arc. This arc has its radius emanating from this corner over here. So you draw that radius, you draw that line for that stands for the radius, and then the diagonal. This one can go all the way up to the end, but even if we reach here, it will suffice for this particular work. And we already have located our what? We have located our center point, the center to our arc, the center to the arc that we are going to draw. We have already located it by just getting this intersection point. So stand there with your pair of compass and stretch it to this corner over here, and you will be able to describe the arc that now covers this quarter. So stand there, stretch your pair of compass here, and you'll be able to describe this quadrant. Now, uh, the next task is to transfer this arc 20 millimeters down. We want to transfer this arc 20 millimeters down, and the trajectory of transfer must be 90 degrees. So already we have one point. Yeah, you call that one either the beginning. Yeah, if this is the beginning and this is the end, we already have the beginning transferred here. Then we shall also have the end transferred down here, 90 degrees, transferred 90 degrees. 20 millimeters, because the thickness of this is 20 millimeters. Therefore, we shall transfer it at 20 millimeters. And then we shall also need to transfer this center down 20 millimeters. Yes, we shall need to transfer it parallel to all the vertical lines. We shall need to transfer it uh, 20 millimeters. So here we are with this one being transferred 20, the center here being transferred 20, and the end here being transferred 20. Now we have those 3 points that we need. We needed the center. Center is here, the beginning is here, and the end is here. So place your pair of compass here, stretch it here, and then you'll be able to describe this lower arc, which should be a replica of this one. It will be a replica of that one. So we have completed this arc for this quadrant. We're speaking about this quadrant over here. We have drawn the upper arc that starts from here and ends there. Then we have transferred the starting point down here, 20 millimeters, a vertical line. Then we have transferred the center. The center of this arc also has been transferred. Remember, we're transferring 3 points, and then we also transfer the end of the arc. That now enables us to stand that point. That is the center of the arc. Stand there, stretch your pair of compass here, and you'll be able to draw this lower arc. So this lower arc is lower than this upper arc by 20 millimeters. That's why we're transferring this beginning point 20 millimeters. We're transferring this end point 20 millimeters. And we're also transferring this center 20 millimeters, so that as we sit on the lower point, we are able to stand at the center of the lower arc, stretch it to the lower beginning of the lower arc, and describe the arc to the end of the lower arc. So since we have finished with the arcs, now we need to draw a tangent, just like we drew on this other side. We need a tangent on this side, and that tangent will start from a defined point, which is a diagonal. It will start from the upper diagonal. Yeah, you can see that this is an isometric square over here, and we are doing a diagonal on that isometric square. Yeah. If you have not erased, you will still have it there, because we drew it even in the first place. Because I had erased mine, I have to draw that diagonal again and replicate that at 20 millimeters below that one. How do I do that? I'll just pick this line with my set square, two set squares, pick this line, and using parallelism, transfer that line down here to this corner. And I will have my parallel lines there that touch this point and touch that point, which means now I have the position where my tangent is going to start and the position where my tangent is going to end, and that is good. So anything that now falls behind the tangent will be erased, especially from the lower arc. The upper arc will remain that way, since the tangent only touches here. The tangent does not come all the way up here. The tangent starts from here and goes down there. So anything that is behind the tangent will be erased. And if you look at that, now it looks very beautiful and very realistic, with all the lines that fall behind here. The arcs that fall behind here have been erased, since the rule is that anything behind the tangent, especially for the lower arc, anything behind the tangent will be erased and must not be seen. Anything beyond the tangent and above the tangent and in front of the tangent, that will be finished. It will be a finished line. Therefore, if you look at that, that's a very beautiful disc there that we have finished. So the next thing is to stand our shaft from, this is the center. Our shaft is going to sit on this disc. It is going to sit on this disc upright and standing up. So the next thing we need to do is to look for an isometric square that forms the base of the shaft. An isometric square. And since the shaft has a diameter, this disc has a diameter of 60. But the shaft we are going to draw on top of it, the shaft that sits here, has a diameter of 30 millimeters. So we look for 30 millimeters square isometric that will cover this base over here. So there we are with our isometric square. If you measure from here up to here, that will give you 30. From here up to here will give you 30. From here up to here will give you 30. From here up to here will give you 30. And this line is parallel to this one. This line is parallel to this one. Yes, same to this one. So you only need to measure 30, 30, 30, and 30. And with your parallelism skills, you can be able to make this one parallel to that, make this one parallel to that, make this one parallel to that, and make this one parallel to that. And we have already a base that on which we are now going to place our shaft. And the process is the same. We will now have a diagonal here. Because this is the wider angle, and this is the wider angle, just by standing here and stretching your pair of compass here, you'll be able to draw that arc. Standing here, stretching your pair of compass here, you'll be able to draw this arc. And then you do a diagonal there, and you do a radius, and where they intersect, you'll be able to get this arc, and do another radius on this side, and where they intersect here, you'll be able to as well have your center. So here you stand here, simply stretch here and draw that arc. Stand here, stretch your pair of compass here and simply draw that arc. Then next you draw a diagonal. You draw a diagonal and a radius. You draw a radius. This is the radius of this arc. This is the radius of this arc on this other side. You can draw it the other way around. You can start the radius here and draw it to the radius of this opposite. You can start the radius there and draw it to the beginning of that arc. So what we are looking for here is this point. Whichever side you choose to draw the radius from, if you choose to draw it from here, it will pass through here and it will land there. If you decide to draw the radius from this side, it will pass through this point and land right there. So the point we are looking for is this one and this one, of which those points are our new centers. Yeah, our first center was here to draw this arc. Second center was there to draw this arc. Now our third center is here to draw this side arc, and then the fourth center is here to draw this other arc, and we shall finish the top arc. Now we have not chosen to draw this one, to finish this arc, we have chosen to first transfer this arc which we have drawn. We want to transfer it up 30 millimeters. So we start with the beginning point up 30 millimeters, the end point up 30 millimeters, and then the center up 30 millimeters. That gives us 3 points: the center, the beginning, and the end. Standing here, stretch your pair of compass there and draw that arc. We shall have transferred this arc over here 30 millimeters up there. Wow! Now, we have abandoned that, but we already know how to draw this arc. We have abandoned that one. So now, but we have those centers. So it's just a matter of standing here and doing that arc, which is similar to that one. That's it. So we have, by standing here, which is this center is for this circle, it is for this arc, and we have transferred this center 30 millimeters. So we stand at the center, we have transferred the beginning and the end, and you stand there, stretch there, and we shall be able to close that one over there. Now, we are still there, but I think we have closed this one. How have we closed this one? This is the center, stretch here, and you draw that one. So we can also be able to transfer this one. How do we transfer it? Already one side is transferred, 30 millimeters. We only need to transfer the center also 30 millimeters, and also transfer this end 30 millimeters. And by standing there, we shall be able to clock the other one. There we are. So the first point, this one is was existing even before. It was existing even before. We only need to get this new point over here, which is, this is the beginning. The end of this one is the beginning of the new arc we are going to draw here, and this is the end of that arc that is described or has been brought up by this 30 millimeters line. Then transfer the center 30 millimeters. You have 3 points: the center, the beginning, stretch your pair of compass there, and describe that arc to the end, and you will have this arc over here transferred up here 30 millimeters. There we are. We have transferred this arc over here 30 millimeters up there. So the next thing is to complete this other side. We already have the center here, we have the beginning, we have the end there. Just place your pair of compass here, stretch it there, and finish this arc over there. We shall now be having the full isometric, circle. Same thing here. We have the beginning here. Where is the center of this arc? It is here. So we can transfer the center of this arc 30 millimeters, and then transfer the end of it 30 millimeters. By standing at the center, we can be able to finish this one, and we can be able to finish others. So there we are with our points. Where is the center? We have the beginning and we have the end. But where is the center of this arc? We are yet to draw it because the center is here. The center of this arc is here. So we are yet to put another 30 millimeters here to give us the center, so that by stretching from that center to this, we can be able to close this one, which is a replica of this one. On this other side, we can simply stand here to be able to draw this arc stand here and stretch your pair of compass here, close that one. Then come up here, stretch it here, and close this one. And we shall be having our full isometric circle. So here we are with our lower one. We have done 3/4. We have done 3/4. We are remaining with this quarter. We already have the beginning and the end. We have the center there. So just stand there, stretch your pair of compass here, and you'll be able to close that one. And the same down here, we have not finished this arc, but we have the center here, we have the beginning, and we have the end. Just stand there with the pair of compass, stretch it here, and cover that arc over there. So we have finished the lower one. Then we move to the upper one. Stretch your pair of compass from this point there and finish that one. And now we have completed the lower one and also completed the upper one. Remember that this should not be completed before you do a tangent. It is important for you to do a tangent to know what needs to be drawn and what needs to be hidden, because the bulk of this arc behind here is not needed. The bulk of this arc behind here will be hidden behind, it will be hidden behind this front part, and therefore you need to determine the tangent there. You need to determine, and how do you get the tangent? By this diagonal. So you can use parallelism to bring this diagonal here and just draw the diagonal right here, and you'll be able to get your intersection point here and there. So that will give you, yes, to give you the position of the tangent. So the tangent will start from here and the tangent will drop here. The tangent will start from here and the tangent will drop there. But I would want to make it dark. I would want to make it dark. Don't do the same, because we know that most of this part, the behind part, will not be drawn. It will not be visible. Even this part here will need to be erased so as to get this diagram complete. So let me just make this and this dark, and then we can move on. Wow, tangents have already been drawn. So we have the tangent there. This tangent shows us that the whole of this is going to be erased, and the whole of this will be in finish line. This will be in finish line. Both tangents will be in finish lines, and this top will all be in finish line. But there is this part which is going to be erased, this part which is going to be erased, and this one too. So there we are with those finished line. Just a touch up to erase this part, to erase this part, to erase that part, to erase this and that, so that we give it the realistic look. So our diagram is complete, but it's never complete without dimensioning. So the only thing that is remaining is for us to dimension, and the work will be complete. You get your full marks. Remember that we started with construction lines. Your construction lines should still be there, but in the background, because they are in construction. They are lines that are drawn which are not visible. They are not very visible. Thin, light lines. Yeah. But because we have this dark lines, they will override those construction lines. You do not have to delete the construction lines. I deleted my construction lines. Why? Because I am using a different software, and I wanted you to see how all the construction lines are getting into this thing. Hallelujah. Therefore, let me just put the dimensions, and this work will be over and done with. So just finish with your dimension lines, and the diagram is complete. I hope you'll be able to follow these steps, and you will be able to stick to the construction lines until the tail end of your diagram. And when you are putting the finish lines, you are sure you have finished the diagram. Don't rush into putting the finish lines before you have completed the diagram, and do not erase the construction lines. Just make them as light as possible so that they do not interfere with your work. So you can like and subscribe so that I may be able to do more of these videos. So try out the skills. Thank you, and see you. See you in the other video.